So Clemson escapes Troy by a score of 27-16. At one point, it was 16 to nothing, and Clemson had one of the worst first half performances I have seen so far in the 2025 season. It was so bad. So awful. When I watch Clemson through 8 quarters of college football, I see a team that is not well coached on offense or game management. Now, I think personally that defensively they're well coached, so we're not going to chalk that up. But another issue they have is there are some shaky players on defense. Before I resume, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bells, and comment your thoughts down below. I love your engagement. Don't just hit the notification bell for my main channel. Hit the bell for any team playlists attached to the video if interested. If your team is not there or you're not interested, please navigate to my home channel page. Check out the playlists tab. Your team will be there if it's a Power 4 team. And hit the notification bell so that you can get notified when I cover that specific team. If you want additional content, bonus content, sign up as a paid member of the channel with the appropriate tier. I also give priority reply to members. And check out our Discord server. It's free. You get to interact with me. I get to pop in there. And the Discord server will notify you when we go live or when I upload videos. I don't think this defense is at Penn State, Ohio State, Georgia, Texas level. I just don't. I think it's in that next tier. We'll see. But right now I would take Jim Knowles in Penn State. I would take Patricia in Ohio State. Certainly Smart and Schumann in Georgia. And Kwiatkowski in Texas right now over Allen and Clemson defensively. Again, they look awesome, and I think Allen's done a better job than I expected at fixing their issues, but they are not perfect. I mean, there were some plays where their DBs, we're talking about Avion Terrell, we're talking about Khalil Barnes, we're talking about Ashton Hampton, Jaden Lucas, where they gave up some pass attempts that you do not want to give up against Troy. And those running backs were taking some angles that I just didn't, or linebackers rather. Those linebackers, and even the running backs too. I think that Clemson has some in-the-box play that is a little bit questionable, if I'm being honest. And by in the box, I mean inside the tackle box. So that can be your safeties, that can be your linebackers, running back. It can even be D-line, but I think Clemson's fine on the D-line. I thought that Troy's number 9, their quarterback, Goose Crowder, played well, and he did a good job of getting the ball over some of Clemson's defensive backs. He ended up with 3 interceptions, and Clemson won 27-16. They scored 27 unanswered points. 27 unanswered points. I mean, they dominated that second half. They looked really, really, really good, honestly, in that second half. But it took them a while to get there. It took them a while. And that is what the concerning piece was. Because if you're Clemson, you should be beating Troy by 40 or 50 points. Maybe by 30 or even upper 20s, but never, ever having a doubt that you're going to beat them. To be down 16-3 at half is, I think, a clear indication that there are some issues. Now, in relationship to winning the ACC, I think Clemson's just fine. Because I think as we've seen, the ACC is, you have Florida State, you have Miami. They have so far overshot their preseason expectations. Clemson's very much undersold their preseason expectations. But it is early. Clemson still has a more talented roster than either of those by recruiting rankings. And once you factor in development, I would say it's probably better than Florida State's at this point. Miami's, no, but we'll have to see. It's kind of a very early takeaway I have that I'm going to go with, is that I believe Miami has probably the better overall roster. Starting roster, I'd still go with Clemson, though. In relationship to winning the national title, just kind of leave those hopes at the door. I mean, Clemson Clemson started the year plus, I think, low plus 1,000 in odds to win it all. They've now dropped below plus 2,000. Is there a chance they can win it all with the chaos here that has transpired? Maybe so. But these early performances have not inspired confidence. Now, there are Clemson teams who've won it all under Swinney that did not perform well early against bad competition. 2016, 2018, even the 2019-17 teams and 15 teams that all of them reached the playoff, and the 20 team had some off games. Everyone has some off games, but to be 2 games into the year and your only samples are games where you are underperforming, that is not something that inspires confidence. Clemson clearly has issues among the offensive line. Very clearly. So the defense is legit, and we've talked about this. And wide receiver, even with Antonio Williams out, TJ Moore is good. Bryant Wesco looks like a freak. I love him on the field. But Clemson right now is averaging 75.5 run yards per game and 3 yards per carry overall. And they're giving up sacks. They didn't just give up sacks to LSU and gave up constant pressures with missed assignments. Troy was getting pressure on them throughout the game. That is not something that inspires confidence. It's not. What about that inspires confidence? Running back is not perfect. Tight end is not perfect. Cade Klubnik, Dabo Swinney's now criticized him 2 games in a row, or said he's not played well in the post-game press conference, so he's a little bit rattled. And I don't think Garrett Riley's calling a good game. The offense outside of wide receiver is lost. It just straight up is. There's no way around that. No way around that. Wide receiver is, look, it's a very good unit. It's one of the best units in America at receiver when Antonio Williams is healthy. But Adam Randall, number 8, he had that one play where it was a 4th down, and if he holds on to that ball early in the first quarter, it'd be an obvious Clemson win entering the half. Troy would never have had the momentum to build up enough steam to where people doubted Clemson's capacity to win. Clemson would have led at the half. I know Clemson was rotating on the offensive line in the second quarter and throughout this game. Like, they had a true freshman, Braden Jacobs, in, and he gave up a very critical sack. But it's Troy. Talent alone, with your coaching and Dabo Swinney's reputation, you should be handling these teams pretty easily. I will say that throughout the game, the defense took over. Ashton Hampton had a beautiful interception. Ronan Hannafin, strong safety, who is surprisingly starting. He had a good pick. Overall, it's just a disappointing performance for Clemson. I mean, when at one point in the game, Troy is given a near 75% chance to win, that's not good. That's kind of an indictment right there. When you outgain Troy 316 to 301, and you have 2 turnovers, you only have 1 more first down than they do, and they had 67 additional yards in penalties that they gifted you. When you are 5 of 12 on 3rd down and they are 5 and 13, when they have a 6-minute possession advantage over you, and when you look at the advanced analytics with the Tigers, and it's clear their offense has issues, guys. It's very clear. It's very obvious. According to GameOnPaper.com, Clemson had a negative expected points added per play, negative 0.10, negative 1/10 expected points added per play. Their expected points added per rush was a negative 0.30. They can't run the football. They can't do it. And Garrett Riley, I know he's received a ton of criticism, but what was his TCU offense really good at in 2022? Which that performance ultimately got him the Clemson job. They could run the ball, and they could run it very well. On top of it, they had a gutsy QB, and they had wonderful receivers who could attack downfield. Every single season at Clemson with Garrett Riley, they've had one component of their offense that could mesh well with his concepts. Last year and the year before that, it was Phil Maffa. This year, they finally have and late last year, they had the receivers and ground attack. If Maffa were healthy against Texas, there's a chance that's a game in the fourth quarter. And by a game, I mean a real game where it's tied or Clemson isn't just trying to stage a comeback attempt, but it's really back and forth. There would have been a chance with that. But this year, there is no ground game to be found. It's all downfield receivers. And I know that Garrett Riley technically runs an air raid, but this, pardon me there, this is more of a, this is a power raid, a spread. It's an air raid with air raid concepts, air raid philosophy, but it's not the Mike Leach, we're not really going to use our running backs all that much air raid. This offense is predicated on running the ball very much so. It's similar to Lincoln Riley's offense where, yeah, it's called an air raid, but their offense is at their best when they run more, when they pass, and when they have a lot of success on the ground. When they don't, that's when things look bad. I ultimately still like Clemson in the ACC. I will be releasing updated college football playoff predictions sometime this week. I might have Clemson in still. But as a national title contender, at least as of right now, I am out on the Tigers there. You just can't look like that. You can't in your first 2 weeks, especially against an LSU team that right now is not top 3 or top 4 in title odds, and then against a Troy team that, with all due respects, is a Sun Belt and G6 team for a reason. Thank you so much for watching College Football with Sam. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bells, and comment your thoughts down below. Again, for the notification bells, don't just hit the bell for my main channel, hit it for any team playlists attached, or if you're not interested in those teams, navigate to my channel homepage, to the playlists tab. There will be a playlist for your favorite team if it's a Power 4 team. Hit the notification bell for that playlist so you can get notified when I mention them or talk about the conference broadly that they reside in. If you want bonus content, sign up as a paid member. And our Discord server is totally free. You get to interact with me and several other diehard football fans in there. So do those things. Most of them are free. And if you want to go the extra mile, there's always the Patreon page and YouTube memberships.